Hello, Kayles here and welcome to my 15th video. In this video I'm going to talk about the changes to HESH in 1.79 and if I think it's good or bad. So in the changes you might have noticed that some shells, like the Conqueror, did get a buff in how much explosive mass. They haven't changed it on the card, but they also buffed how much HESH penetrates on angles. That's because of the squash head. The squash head works like it's a plastic explosive, as I have understand it. It's a plastic explosive on the tip of the shell that squashes out on top of the armor, and the more area that the explosive mass can get to and then explode, the better the penetration. And therefore, this shell does a lot more damage at 60 degrees than on flat armor because it gets over a bigger area. And a thing that I really liked with the update, or one of the things that I really liked about the update, is that the Conqueror got the Super Conqueror modification, which is an tier 4 researchable modification. Here, the additional ballistic protection package, 1.1 ton more mass, but it adds this armor plates here. You can't see them that good, but they are 15 millimeters with a pretty big space here, which defeats a lot of heat rounds and HESH if someone decides to HESH you. They should not HESH a Conqueror unless they know exactly what they're doing. But up here it also adds these plates, which is 20 millimeter. This can actually take a lot of hits before they drop off the tank, so that's nice. And it can disrupt APDS rounds and stuff. It actually works really good. But in the video I'm going to show the RU251 with the small HESH, as I used to call it, the DM502. And as you see, it has a max penetration of 114 now, at 60 degrees. So because of how the angles are, some turrets and so on can be exploited with HESH. So if you can hit on like this degree, even if you RU251, you could hit pretty much anywhere. But if you hit here, it should penetrate because of how hard the angle is and how the extra amounts of penetration. I'm going to show the M60, which I have, here. And I'm going to use the M393 shell, which penetrates 127 up to 142 millimeters on 60 degrees. That is going to be really helpful. And I'm probably going to try out the M60 in some games soon after my testings, and just try to bring HESH and just see if it works out. I haven't actually done that yet, but I have been playing the Conqueror, as you have seen. I've unlocked the package and stuff, and this thing is a bless. You just see a Russian tank or anything with a big turret, and you hit it. But IS-4s and IS-6s are still a little bit painful because you forgot where you can pen them and so on. I'm going to show that a little bit in the video. And as usual, I like to bring out the FV405 because it's just so fun to play with. And if you haven't tried it, you should try it. And you can just relax, go around the corner, kill one person or two in one shot, and then back away, and then come back after a while, or move away. So it's a really interesting tank to play, and I really like to play it, and you can really remove some of those tanks that your team needs to kill to be able to win the game. Like a mouse, for example. A mouse sometimes can be hard to kill if it gets down tiered, but this thing can just outright kill a mouse in one shot. So that's something positive. Alright, the L1 shell. They nerfed the penetration on flat It used to be 254 on flat, but they upped it on to 256 millimeters on 60 degrees. So that is going to be great against turrets and cupolas and anything that is sharply angled. Except the IS-3 upper front plate, because it has a diamond angle, so the shrapnel is going to get straight into the driver and completely mess him up. But it won't stop the tank for long. Yeah, something to think about. And I'm going to cut over to some gameplay soon. So, quick thing before the gameplay, or the testing. I'm going to shoot mostly Russian tanks, T-54s for example, IS-4, IS-3, a Big 906, and yes, because usually it's the Russian tanks that in my experience has been the hardest to penetrate, and now when HESH has been buffed, I think that HESH is going to be really good against the Russians. So T-54s and what was it more? The Object 268. I'm too used to think of this cancerous tank. I'm so glad that I put it at 8.0 now, so you don't have to verse it with your 6.3 tanks anymore. It's still really good in 8.0, but that's just my opinion. And I'm going to shoot the T95 also. Where is it? Here. And it's just because some people don't know about the weaknesses of this thing, and it can really easily be killed with HESH. So yes, stay tuned and watch the testing, and if you have any opinions, I gladly like to hear them. And let's have a little discussion or something in the comments. But over to the gameplay. So here we are in the RU-251, and I'm going to use this shell, which you see penetrates more at the angles, as I said before, or probably said before. I just discovered on the Foch that if you can penetrate the front, you can penetrate here and kill off the gunner if you have HESH. So that's something you can think about. Over to the Russian tanks. The ZSU-57-2. Hull broken anywhere where you hit it. You can even hit tracks. If I can hit tracks. As you see. This thing that I rarely see in games. You can kill it here. Let's see if I can get a better angle. As you see, if the angle is greater than 60 degrees, it might be do no damage or bounce, but if it's within the grasp, you could probably, you can hit there to do a lot of damage. Some T-54s you can hit on the upper plate. This version of it you cannot of some reason. Let's see if we can, okay. But on the other T-54s that I tried before, you can hit here and destroy a lot of things. And I don't know why it's thicker on this one over this one. I haven't looked into it that much. But as you see, HESH is super useful now against the Russians, because you can hit their angled turrets, and because of the increased penetration at angles, HESH in some areas might actually do really good. So let's hit the upper part, where the shrapnel goes straight down, kills all the crew. IS-3s and IS-4s are harder to kill with this round, the small HESH. But you should be able to hit here, driver and gunner. And up on that side is really good. But you might need some angles to be able to do that. So maybe. Well, on the upper part. So if you can hit it and not bounce, that is mostly a one-hit kill. The IS-4 is way harder. I don't think you can kill it with the small HESH. Maybe up here. Let's see. No, it has too much armor. You can, if you're very skilled or lucky, hit that very top part. I doubt you can trap shot anymore. Oh. Oh well, I have never successfully done that in a game. So it's really hard now. With HESH at least. Object 906, hull break. And the object 268, which you never see in game. I think it has more than 100 everywhere, maybe. Lower. That worked. Just try to find those spots where the armor is... Like, you understand, like, if there's 60 degrees and the armor is thick enough, and you, like, just... If that was an AP round, that would probably have bounced, but because it was a HESH and it smears out on the side, it does so much more damage. Conquer. The Super Conquer is actually really good, especially versus HESH, as you see. And the plate actually stays, so that's nice. So, that was the RU-251 with the DM502 shell. So here we are in the M60, and I'm going to use this round, which I used to call a medium HESH, and it penetrates up to 142mm now at 60 degrees with the buff. So I'm going to fire at the same tanks, and one thing to think about is that if you fire HESH at close range now, you can actually damage your barrel. But let's repair that. HESH on this. All world hull breaks. SU-122, I should be able to hit it from the front this time. And as you see, just annihilates the crew. This should be even easier to kill now. Let's see if we can do the cider turret. Pretty much kill it. And what about the upper front plate of this one? Upper front plate, totally annihilated the crew. The T-54 1949. Well, that fuel tank absorbed a lot of that. But if I hit... Yeah. The third T-54. It has a thicker plate, so maybe a higher. Yeah. So aim for the as far up as you can without bouncing. That's my tip. IS-3 turret, and as you see, kill off the gunner, and then you could probably finish him off before he can return fire. The IS-4, let's see if we can take the cider turret. I doubt it. No. On top. No. I think you should be able to... Or maybe that's the bigger one. Let's try a trap shot. Trap shot is still kinda reliable. This will use hull break. Should have hull broken if I didn't bounce. Did a lot more damage. And let's see. Down below, hit the cannon bridge. That's nice for realistic. And on top, I suppose that was way too... Can you even you should have heat rounds or APDS for heavy armor targets like this. Maybe you can do the Doom Turtle thing? Nope, because it's not modeled. Object 120. As you see, hull broken. And this one still does no damage with HESH, and the plate is still there. And just to show what I meant with the Doom Turtle, because it's right here. So if you just hit the Cupola with a HESH shell, you should kill a big part of the crew. If we repair it and fire, I think it's about here, you kill off most of the crew and therefore one-shots it. So that was the M60 with the M393 round. So here we are in the Super Conqueror, as this is called now when it has the extra armor on it. And I'm going to use the big HESH shell, as I used to call it. And now it says that it still has 3.1 kilograms, but they said that they were upping the explosive mass to 4.1 kilograms in the changelog. That's probably just an error on their side. But the penetration is still 152 up to 170 at 60 degrees. So let's try to shoot the HESH. And as you see, it's much stronger even on that flat surface. This is just gonna hull break the front of the SU-12254. I rarely see this thing in game. But as you see, all the crew knocked out. The T-54 side of turret straight up kill the thing. Front of the upper front plate, all dead. Same here, probably. Nope, but commander, driver, and fuel tank. So he would be able to fire back. But if you just hit the turret with the Conqueror's HESH, this is usually how you can kill stuff. Especially the Russians. And with the increased penetration, it's much easier to do this. I say as I bounce. But if you get a penetrating hit anywhere on most things with bigger HESH, then either the Conqueror, the premium that I don't own, and the F345, they should just die. And this diamond formation just makes the shrapnel going to the driver, poor driver. Let's see if we can hit the ball. And that pretty much kills it. Let's see if we can do the IS-4. IS-4 is still too strong. In a real game I've actually been able to penetrate around here. Because now when the HESH shell has greater penetration at angles, it's greater than the armor plate. But if you hit the middle, it's still too strong. So if you want to penetrate with HESH, with the big HESH shells, you have to hit on the sides. So that's something to think about. The Object 906 bounces quite a lot, but can easily be hull broken. I wonder if you can shoot next to it. Yeah, I barely hit it. This thing, maybe you can HESH with this. Not there. Center, it's driver. Well, that worked. And this is just going to be hull broken. Super Conqueror, same as I'm playing. I'm sorry about the lag drop, it's just because there's so many vehicles in this direction. As you see, this really works against it. And protects against a lot of HESH. And yes, for the sake of it, T95. I know I didn't show this with the RU-251, but I didn't think about it. I have killed an T95 in a battle with just one shell here, so I can confirm from my experience that it works in real games. I wonder if the big one works on the back one. Nah, I skills that guy. So that has been the Super Conqueror with the extra add-on armor. That doesn't do much in here, but with the L1 TK shell. So here we are in the FV405. I'm going to use the L1 shell, which has a lower penetration now, but has the same penetration as it used to have, but on 60 degrees, which is weird in my opinion. But I suppose it's a bit overkill anyways. So I'm going to hit some of the tanks because of how the turret can't go further to the side. I'm not going to shoot every tank because then it's a lot of driving. As you see, this might be able to actually pen the front. Yep, as you see, this thing is just overkill. We know it's going to hull break the ZSU. Yes, outer. Annihilates it. With this thing you should just aim straight on something and it should be dead. The T-54s, well, the upper front plate that can't be penned by small ones, but the huge one shouldn't have a problem. As you see, just annihilate the crew. And if you aim higher, annihilates even more of the tank. So we have already seen the T-54s, so I'm going directly to the IS-3. IS-3 you should be able to hit the middle part, even if they have somewhat reduced the penetration of HESH here in my test in real games, but let's try. Yeah, this thing is pretty much overkill for anything it hits. Side. Yeah. The amount of shrapnel and destruction this thing causes in general, even if you don't penetrate. Let's try the hardest part here. Yeah. It didn't kill him, but it took out the gunner, the driver, and sometimes it can take the barrel. If we repair it, it's next to it. Completely... Oh well, that didn't do much damage. But IS-4s in general are just hard to hit. A big 906, I just hit it because it's fun and I love to see them die. And yep, that front is now gone. You should be able to just hit this thing straight on. I wonder, can you hit the middle part? Yeah, that's no problems. And the object 120. Can you hit the barrel and handbrake it? Yep, you can hit the barrel. And I wonder, I haven't actually tried this with the Super Conqueror. Does the extra armor protect against the FE405? Apparently not. The armor plates protected the turret, but not the front. And T95, you shouldn't be able to penetrate here. I wonder... Well, that worked. That's good to know. What about the left cupola? Also worked. And the one that you are supposed to shoot, right between these two windows. Pretty much destroyed half the tank. So, this has been the FV45 with the L1 shell, which penetrates 228 up to 256 at 60 degrees. So here we are back in the hangar, and as you saw in the video, most HESH shells performed really well against all tanks, or at least most tanks. And I didn't show the RU251 HESH, the T95, but I have done it in a game. I didn't find the replay of it, so can't show it. But trust me, it was the most clutchest kill ever. I saw him, he saw me, we started aiming towards each other, I hit his cupola, one shot. And he probably got a little bit annoyed. I always feel bad about killing T95s because I know how painful it is to drive them, but I still like it. It was way better when it was lower tier, because it was more useful. But now we're not going to talk about how tanks used to be. So HESH does a lot more damage now, and because of the increased damage as angles, it's more viable if an enemy stands in a greater angle, because your, for example, APDS shell. I don't know, does this penetrate more? 142mm with HESH, 123mm with APDS. So in this case, HESH would be more useful at 60 degrees than APDS. So you could think it as your backup if something angles against you and you just HESH them instead. And I would recommend to, if you don't have, like, I usually play with HESH as my main round on my Conquer. As you see, it's selected first. And I have some backup APDS. And I have that because the HESH shell in general do more damage if it penetrates. But if it's something with a lot more armor than 170, I would use the APDS. So at least bring some HESH shells. And that was that. So lately you might have noticed that I haven't posted anything in a while. And that's because I've been waiting for the 1.79 update. I got really bored of the last update and there was really nothing more to do. And I like to do videos of things that aren't talked about that much. So for example, if you've seen European Canadian, he pumps out like 2 to 3 videos per day. And that just sounds exhausting. It's, in my opinion, it sounds like you're just making videos for the videos and not for the content. So that's one of the things why I haven't posted in a while. I have also been playing some other games that I like. For example, I've been playing some Borderlands 2, which I got into some really fun things with. And I've tried some other games and tried to find something new. But the 1.79 patch dropped earlier than I thought, so maybe I make more videos. I'm gonna see, maybe I make videos about what I feel about the update, if you want that, or maybe more upgraded rounds or shells, or anything really. I just want to find the good content for you guys. So that's why I haven't posted in 3 weeks, I think it is. And I'm going to try to post more if I got time. I'm kind of busy right now, but I try to do it for you guys. So that was all for my 15th video, and I hope you guys have a great day.